Hello guys, this is CubasMike from Kingdom 2425. Today I'm going to show you how to set up and how to use the report manager that I've built. Okay, so this tool, what it does is basically let you copy every single report, battle report that you have seen in the game, and it will save it in a permanent location. Then you can use this tool to basically explore all reports or to get some insights, basically to summarize some of your battles, see how your matches are performing, and so on. So the first step, let's set it up. This is the first screen that you see when you open the game and you have already gotten a license. So you say select an input dir, and the input directory, you need to go to wherever you have your game installed. My case is in C, program files, ROK, then you go to save directory and you need to find this mail cache directory. If you check this mail cache, it will have a bunch of files inside that says persistent mails and so on. So after you select that mail cache, you say select folder and then you click on add. That directory is going to be added in the monitor input dirs. So this program, what it's going to do is going to be monitoring this directory constantly. In this case, I added the share report, which is another directory that I use to copy files that other people share with me. Let's say when I'm debugging or fixing some issues or they want to share with me some of their reports. I put them in this file and this tool will automatically copy them to whatever permanent location I choose. So that permanent location is going to be the output dir. So I'm going to go and select permanent location. In this case is the.ROK reports.x. This is only for this test. So I select that, and this means that every 60 seconds the program will copy whatever new reports you have in these two directories inside the permanent directory, and it will organize them in a certain way. You can explore later how it's organized. Then after you have the input dirs, the monitor input dirs, and the output directory set up, you need to start monitoring emails. So you're gonna have this green message. This is the most important message you need to keep checking on, which means that we are copying files every 60 seconds. So you don't lose all reports because you're fighting a lot, for instance. So here you have all the messages from the system that is copying them, is adding them to the database, and so on. One is done adding these files and processing them. The next thing you can do right now is just basically go to the other tabs of the program. Now you have several options here in the configuration tab. Basically you have the display size. I have a big monitor, so I usually just go here and select the biggest resolution. Ask me to restart. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Another thing you can do is basically change between dark mode or light mode, how many reports you want to be rendered. We're gonna see what I mean about how many reports can be rendered in the next tabs. Usually I just keep it to 200, and then there is the time zone. Here you can select the time zone that you're using if you want all the timestamps on all reports to be showing this type of time zone. Because let's say you remember when you woke up to start fighting in Pass 4, but you don't remember in which UTC time it started. You can select whatever UTC you feel more comfortable with. Okay? So here I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to close it, and then I'm going to open another version of this that I already have running for all my input directories. In this case, I already have set up my input directories. I have my output directories, but I have like 50,000 files. Okay, so now let's go to the interesting part. First, let's go to the fill tab. So now it's loading because it's loading a bunch of emails that I've had since last KBK. Let's go around this window. First, this window is divided in several sections. The first section is what I call the filters. It will let you filter which emails you want to see by date, by certain player name, by enemy player name, their IDs, primary and secondary commanders, and so on. The second part is the reports itself. It's going to show you a list of reports. And the third part is when you are visualizing the reports or some summaries. The last part are all these buttons that basically let you do some actions with these reports. Okay? So first, let's focus on the filters. So the filters, the first button is basically to refresh the data. Basically, let's say if you have opened this tab and your program is copying files, the files are not loaded automatically here yet, so you need to refresh. This refresh, remember we are copying emails every 60 seconds. Whenever you click on refresh, it will force copying the emails, update these files so you can explore the new ones, or you can create some summaries of the files. Okay, next let's check a few of the filters. So the first one is the scenario. This will show you if it is a regular fight or if it is an Arc of Osiris. You have the ignore barbarians, and then let's check other filters. The other filters, usually one of the filters I use the most is I want to focus only on field fighting to have like a fair comparison of my marches versus the enemy marches. Because when I do field fight, sometimes I'm like swarming a city or swarming a pass or swarming a rally or a stronghold. So in this case, I'm going to focus only on field fighting. So I'm going to apply that filter. Whenever the filter is active, it's going to be showing in blue, except this button. This button basically resets all these filters around here. The next filter I want to use is the name. This is my name, so I'm going to focus only on my main account. And I say apply. So these are the two main filters I usually change. This will basically be updating this left pane, whatever this is showing. So let me show you how other filters, for instance, work. Every filter, every one of these filters here uses this style that basically we have all the unique values. It will have a select all options, when then you can unselect some of them, have the clear option that deselect, and then you focus on only a few ones. And then it has search utility that, let's say you want to search for your favorite, one of your favorite YouTubers, you say one and then you say search, and you can see I found Omniarch here, and I say apply. So on the left, I'm just seeing only the reports versus Omniarch. Then you can explore one by one. Every single one of these rows represent an email, and then you can see how you traded on that email report. Okay, so let's say this report has 3 battles inside, so you can expand and then you can check individual battles. So in individual battles, you always see what are your marches equipment. What is your march like? This is iconic tier 1. That's what I mean, this number. If it has like a special talent, the equipment, and what are the armaments, what are the main buffs armaments, and what are the inscriptions. Inscription statistics are not added to these. So this Vitali, which is an epic Vitali, is like 2.5 health, if I am correct. So you have the statistics plus these 2.5 extra coming from the inscription. Okay, so here you see what are the initial troops that you had, what are the troops that you had when you started the fighting. So this kind of tell you an idea which type of troop expansion they were using. What are the troops wounded and total? You can see the enemy's equipment, basically their armaments and their inscriptions. This is basically an image. This image you can download it by just clicking here, download PNG, and when you go to the download here and you say you sort, let's sort this by date. Here it is. Should be this one. It's going crazy. So this is the latest report I had versus Omniarch saved. The one I just visualizing here, this one, I basically download it using this download PNG, and it's gonna save in this download directory that you can open by clicking here. Okay, so this is the first things you can do by using the tool. Just explore single reports. You can play with the date range to see all the reports if you want. Here I'm just showing 200. You can change this to basically show 500, well actually 500, 1000, 5000. I keep it smaller because the more reports you are showing, the slower is going to be the program, because it's going to take longer to render everything. So it's not such important to have so many reports being shown. I just keep it smaller. In this case, there are not even 500 reports because I have only one player, but if I clear this filter, it will have all of them. So you're going to tell you it's just showing 500 out of 8,000 possible reports. And then here you can explore them. Okay, so feel free to play with all these filters, But now let's go to summaries. What if we want to summarize this data? This is what I use the most. So then you have these buttons here. So the matches performance basically tell you how you perform. First, the first row tells you how you perform versus the enemy in general. So I can tell you in that KBK, I killed close to 45 million troops. My kill point ratio was 2 to 1. Basically, I got more points than enemy got from me. I killed 2.5 more people than they killed me. And my power ratio that I reduced the enemy was twice the amount of power I lost by fighting. So here you can have an idea how you traded. You can maybe use some calculator to see how much resources you spend and so on, healing. And here the next rows are going to show you basically all your matches performance, your individual matches, how my Nevsky John did, basically how my Scipio Tariq do. That these are basically my two main matches. And it's going to be sorted, in this case it's sorted by the enemy total, that is basically wounded plus dead. But you can, let's say you can sort by your kill points, so you can sort by the enemy kill points, so the people who kill you the most. So you can see now that my Archer March is being targeted more and is getting me more injured troops basically. So let's keep it by the enemy total. This is usually what I use. But that's not all. This is my match performance versus all enemy matches. You can expand this and see what is your match performance versus the enemy matches. So how is my Nevsky John doing versus the enemy Nevsky John? So you can see that my Nevsky John is doing pretty good against archers. That are the ones that I target the most. It's like 3.71 against Guan. Guan is my second priority. This Shugelian with Boudica, my Nevsky is doing pretty well, probably because they are pretty slow, and this is one of the first marches I target. So this is going to be sorted by basically the total, but you can sort by maybe the ratio. And you can see what somebody was maybe was killing barbarians and fell asleep on the field, and then I just obliterated him. Like you can see the kill point ratio is like 46 to 1. So this kind of summary lets you explore that, basically how your matches did and how your matches this versus the enemy. And you have the same total. You have the total traits, and if you don't want to see your particular matches, you can see the total trait versus the enemy matches. So this is gonna be how you did versus the Nevsky John in general with all your matches, how you did all your matches versus the enemy Guan and Scipio, and so on. So these already give you a lot of insights on your traits on the field fighting. Here you can add, okay, besides field fighting, I want to also see when I was like a swarming strongholds. You just say apply, you say create the table again, and we'll show those numbers. Okay, here you will see you can play with the filters. The filters are usually multi-select, so you can select several ones, you can select only one. If you don't select anything, it's the equivalent to select everything, so the filter is ignored completely. So again, let's go to field. So we have match performance. This number here tell you how many of enemy matches you're going to show. This is just from an optimization standpoint. Now let's check the next insight. The next insight I have is the players matched performance. So here the table that is showing is your traits versus particular enemy players. Like in this case is the top 50 players. So the colors basically in the previous insight and in this insight is tell you like how good you did. I mean, green is you did pretty well. Gray is like a so-so trade, and at some point you might see some red. The red means that you traded negatively with them. So here I have how I did versus all these players. You have the ID in case you want to search for them individually. So let's focus on one of the people I didn't trade so well. And once you select, you see that these little arrow shows. So when you select someone, the little arrow show, that means you can expand further. I'm not showing it at the beginning because from an optimization standpoint, I don't want to render everything because you're not going to explore over every player. So once you select a player, you can expand, and then you can see your matches. These are basically your matches versus that player. So you can see how your matches traded versus that player. You see now, this is one of their whales. Some of my matches are actually not trading good against this player. In particular, when I was trying my Guanju and Tariq, well, he was punishing me. Then the next thing you can do is, once you select your march, you can expand even further, and you can see the enemy march. So you can see that Scipio Luce was killing my Guan Tariq really bad. Now, another cool thing you can do in this particular insight is you can focus on this particular player. So if you select the player and you click focus, on the left side, you saw that right now I'm just showing the reports of that particular player, and some of the filters, they changed automatically. So then I can go and click and see that player, like particular single reports, and that allows me to see what are armaments, what are the equipment, what are the encryption of that particular player, that can give you an idea why you did so bad. So in this case, you can see he has pretty neat equipment with a lot of like special talents. But basically this allows you to explore that particular player that we were not doing pretty well, explore their single reports and basically see their equipment. Now, if you want to go back, let's say if you want to generate the new table, you see that the table right now is just showing that player. So let's say you wanted to go back to the previous table to explore more players. So what you need to do, well, in this case I already did wrong, so I'm going to remove this ID that was added automatically, and I'm going to generate the table again. So now we are back to the first table we're exploring. So I was exploring this table. Let's say, okay, focus on this guy. I'm showing the reports. I'm seeing his stuff. But now I want to go back. Instead of clicking on match performance, I'm going to go to click here on this button that says back. When you click back, it's basically showing me again the table. Okay? So now I can explore another player. And I say focus on this player. Now I'm showing that player. I see his report. I click back. I see the table again. But now, what else can I do? Let's say I expand that player and I see my matches. What I can do, if I click focus, you see now that the primary, secondary filters are active for me, basically for player. The top row is player filters. The bottom row are enemy filters. So now when you focus, when you select your troop, it's showing that particular match is only Nevsky John for me versus the enemy. You can do again, explore the enemy armaments, the iconic tier, and so on. Now let's go back and let's expand further. Let's say I want to see what are his Nebu and YSG equipment. So I select his march and I do the same, focus. Go here, only, all these reports are basically only his Nebu and his YSJ, and you can see his equipment, a lot of crits. Equipment, only iconic tier 1. Okay, so you can go back and then you can go, let's say, another player that I didn't do so well. Let's say, let's focus this one. This is the player I fought the most. I have kind of good trade against him. I focus and I explore his equipment. So he has here iconic tier 1. They have iconic on the other ones. So let's see Luce. Luce, well, he has really good equipment for his infantry. He has like iconic 4, iconic 5 in the boots, like a KVK helmet, KVK weapon with crit. So this lets you know, like, this is a dangerous player when he's fighting like with the infantry, especially when you see Scipio Luce, just run. And let's explore, let's go back and let's see. I want to see his Scipio Luce versus my Scipio Tariq. So actually did well, probably because I was fighting very cautiously, but then you can focus on this player and you can see again, basically not show you his equipment. Again, you go back and let's say I want to see how my Nevsky was doing, not so great versus Scipio. I was fighting more than that with my infantry on this case. But basically this table allows you to do so much exploration, allows you to see all these traits that you see that the YouTubers, they're trying to show in game, but in game is so hard to get this summary of all these trades that you're doing. So this allows you to basically to play around and see which matches you want to focus on improving the equipment or improving the armaments and so on. So there is also these restore filters. These restore filters, what it does is restore all the filters that were used to generate the original tables. So you don't have to remove them manually later. Okay? So this is basically the most important insights. There are more insights here. I'm going to keep adding other ones. The first two are exactly the same as the two that I have here for quick access. The next three ones are basically some version of the first two, but generate images instead. These images can be downloaded with the download PNG for easy share. Honestly, I prefer these ones, and then you can just use Windows screenshot, and then you click on Windows Shift S. Windows Shift S allow you to copy the entire window, and then this is already copied in the clipboard, so you can Control B in the game or Control B in Discord and share this easily. Anyhow, let's move to the next utility of this tool. The next thing you can do is basically here download CSV. Download CSV, but what it does is generate a CSV file, comma separated value file of all the data. That data is going to be in the download directory. This is a CSV that you can basically open with Excel, or you can export in Google Sheets, so you can see the raw data and you can play with the raw data yourself if you want. So the tool, what it does, it lets you play with the data way faster and with more visualization, but at the end you can always check the data in the CSV. The other option that is here in these buttons is the share report. Basically here you can, let's say you have a particular report that you see maybe you want to share with somebody else that is using the tool. So you click here on share report, and the raw data that was used to generate this report is going to be saved in the download directory. So this file that you can share on Discord with somebody else that has the tool, and they will be able to visualize your own reports. I still need to implement the share all reports. This is basically going to share everything as a zip file, so the other person can basically copy all those files in, let's say, in this input directory that I call share reports, and you will be able to visualize those battles. As you can see, let me see, when I check numbers here, let's say I'm gonna restart everything, I'm gonna reset filters, I'm gonna say, okay, do not ignore barbarians. I remember some friends sending me some battle reports, so when I say name, you see I have some people from 1960 that were fighting some months ago. I have some people from other alliance that they were sharing some reports. So here you can see how he was fighting, basically some barbarians. I was using this to improve the tool, so there were people who were helping me do some tests. So basically that's the fill tab. Let's go back to ignore tab. Let's go back to my name, because this is something I actually use a lot. Let's see matches performance, let's see whatever. Okay, so something I am not sure I didn't talk about is the events. The events is basically a utility that lets you save the scenario, the min date and the max date, and add a description, let's say KBK10, and you say add event, and then you can load that event. So basically if you want to save a certain configuration, let's say KBK10 pass 4, and I say, okay, edit the current event, edit it. Yeah, I'm going to change that. So you save those particular dates so you can load them easy and go back in the past and see how you did in a particular event without having to remember the particular dates and times that you were fighting. This can be used to save some event like, okay, pass Kingsland, entire KBK, or like a ruins fight, and so on. So let's go to the other tabs. The other tabs are basically, instead of free fighting, allow you to see whenever you were participating in a rally. You can see the equipment of the rally leader, the equipment of the garrison leader. You can expand to see if somebody was actually swarming or a second rally. So in this case, this was a pass, so you can see what was the garrison, and there was a counter rally, so you can see also the counter rally equipment and trades. Okay, so this lets you do exploration. It lets you do the marches trade as well, the players trades, so you can explore even further all the information. Okay, so this is similar to Field. I'm not going to go into detail, but you can do the same basically here. So the garrison, exactly the same. In the cases that you were participating in a garrison, you can see the equipment, iconic tier, special talents, armaments, inscriptions, and so on. And you can keep exploring everything. You can do the same summaries. Now in favorites, exactly the same, all the emails that you have in favorites. Next tab is the scout tabs. Scout reports are also saved by the tool. It lets you check by different type of scouts. You have the city scout, the field style, holy sites. Here you can filter by names, by type, by alliance. Has this option that says city summary. The city summary basically tells you what is the cumulative resources of the cities, what is the cumulative troops of the city. So if you are scouting all your enemies, they can give you a quick summary of what are the enemy troops and enemy resources in general to see how much they can fight. The next tab is the gathering tab. Here is maybe not so important tab, but this tells you how much resources you have gathered with your accounts. You can filter by your main account. My main account ID is this one, you can see, or you can basically filter everything here. So you will see all my farms account that have been gathering like crazy for KVK. You see all the food, wood, stone, gold, and crystal you have gotten together with gems. Next tab, it tells you what are all the rewards you have been gaining by attacking barbarians. So I've seen some YouTubers create some videos like, oh, what I gain by chaining barbarians. So this particular summary will tell you exactly what you gain from killing barbarians. How many crystal, how many gems, how many training speed-ups, universal speed-ups, how many of these basic materials, how much experience you gain in books. I still need to add more rewards, but at least for these particular ones, you can see how much you gain. So the rows are basically by grouping together similar level barbarians. The first number is the total of that reward that you got. The second row tells you how much of that reward per barbarian you got. So let's say when you're fighting barbarians 51 to 55, I got 2,500 gems, and in average is like 1.4 gem per barbarians. If you look at barbarians in your home kingdom 21 to 25, you can see that you gain 2.6 gems per barbarian. So it's better, if you want to get gems, it's better to attack barbarians in home kingdom. Also, this costs half the action points. You can expand further to see individual levels, how you did. You can see how many of those barbarians you were killing. Like I killed 258, 202, and so I'm not killing so many barbarians. I don't have much time anymore. But this basically tells you all the rewards that you got. I'm going to keep adding stuff. So the important part is that you keep copying the emails. Basically that you have this monitoring every 60 seconds because the information is already in the raw files, and just adding them here to look nicer, to do some aggregates and so on. Okay, so this is basically what you can do with this tool. Copy the emails and visualize, get some summaries. I'm going to keep adding more information because there are information, for instance, of the timestamp that I can create some animation. There are information about the location. I've done some experiment before. It's not part of the tool, but I've done it programmatically, how to generate a map and show in the map every single battle where it happened. I will be adding that very soon. But basically, if you ask me what is the thing I use the most, is basically the field tab. I usually have the date of a particular important fight. And I see some reports, but the one I use the most is just matches performance. So I see what are my total rewards, total traits. Then I just click matches. I see what are the enemies that I'm fighting the most, what are the enemies are the strongest. But basically, this is the two things I use the most. And I think most of the people have been also, people who have using the tool already, This is the option that I use the most, but you can play with so many things here. You can explore so many people, change, get an idea what you need to change in your equipment and so on. So I hope you enjoy. In the description I'm gonna add the manual, how to install it, how it's used, what is the pricing. I'm going to also add a link to my Discord, because you need to request a license, you need to send me some information how to install it. In my Discord I also keep people updated what are the new features that I'm adding to the tool, and they can also contact me. There is a private category only for people using the tool, where they can request new features, where they can ask for support, where they can show off their reports basically. And my Discord is also used for the calculator. By the way, I didn't mention that at the beginning, but I'm the creator of the calculator bot, where you share a screenshot of your items and it tells you what is the total speed ups or resources you have. I'm also the creator of that tool. That tool is for free, of course, but it's in the same Discord that I'm going to be linking to this tool. So feel free to check it out and contact me by private message if you have any question on the community chat. Share with people who might be interested in using this tool. I've used it for more than a year to get an idea what are the matches I like the most. If you ask me, the one I've been running the most is basically like a CPO with Alex and Nevsky with Joan. I'm kind of very low spender. I spent like $400 in almost 4 years I've been playing this game. But I've been doing pretty well, as you can tell by the trades. Of course, I've never faced such a big an Imperium like 1960 or 1093. Actually, I faced 1093. I'm sure I have some 1093 here. Let me do it that just for the fun of it. Let me go to, let's say, January 1st, 2023. I'm sure I have some 1093, but I was not fighting 1093 directly. And 1093 was fighting 1037. And as soon as they were able to come to our zone, they just obliterated us. But let's see enemy alliance. There should be some 93 here. Let's search. 93D, 93L, P, and T. So I want to focus only on those alliances. So matches performance, yeah. I did still a bit positive, but certainly not so positive. And you can see all the players that are basically fighting. What are the players I was basically fighting? There is all these Baba, Witch, Mikasa, all these dudes from 1093. So this is how cool this tool is. This is basically allow you to check. I think this Henry is actually right now in 24-29. So you want to check his tool, his matches back then. This fight that I had is from June last year. So you can see how I was trading against him and so on. So another player that you want to see, let's clear this one. Let's see if I recognize other players here. I don't know them so well, but I think this one is also a big player. You can see all his armament. Definitely is a big player. You can see his armaments, his equipment, KBK helm, KBK weapon, everything Creed except the horn. This is before the latest update for new iconic tier. But oh my god, his gold gathering armament is amazing. He definitely needed to work a bit on his armaments, but he had plenty of inscription in his armament. So basically this tells you explore, go in the past, think about that KBK that you had. I used it a lot. I'm sure a lot of people will be happy to use it. If you like it, go and check it out. Here, you can do whatever you want. You can see match performance. You can see that I didn't fight much against them because they were in completely far away zone. So I just had like 554 wounded troops against almost 1 million kills. So definitely I didn't fight more with them. If I remember correctly, let's say I go all the way to maybe August 5th, whatever, for that particular KBK. If I remember correctly, let me remove this. I was fighting more other alliance. You can see I was doing pretty good that time. The other alliances I was fighting was, I think, 62 and 57. This alliance I was fighting against them. So against them I was definitely doing pretty good. There was this T79. I think there was another YouTuber. There is another YouTuber, Gains Gaming. I don't know if I ever fought. Let's see, Gains. No, I don't have any match against him, but I think he was there. There was a tiny fight that we had against them whenever they were going out. They were not fighting on our area much, and probably when they were fighting I was sleeping. So basically this tool let you do that much. Find whatever alliance you were fighting, find whatever person you were fighting, see the reports, see how you were doing, do a summary how you were doing. Amazing. At some point, you see, I was using like Guan Yu with Charles Martel. Definitely not doing good. Definitely not good idea. But all this stuff you can basically do. So I hope you can enjoy the tool. Again, I'm gonna leave the description, the manual in the description of the video. Share with as many people as you want. Contact me in Discord if you are interested. Hope you enjoy. Peace out. This was Mike 2425. See you around.